Hey, how you doing? Justin here. Today we are checking out the fabulous More Than Words by Extreme, featuring, of course, the great Nuno Bettencourt on acoustic guitar. Now, a couple of things that I got to mention straight off the bat. First of all, I'm not doing it with exactly the same technique that Nuno uses. I'm going to show you what he does as well, but I've been playing this song for like 15 years or something like that, so trying to change to the way he does it, I found really, really awkward. Most people play it the way I do it, all finger style. He does it with a funny little upstrum thing as well, which I will show you as well. So if you want to learn it from scratch, then you want to have a go at learning that method, I guess. There's a lot of detail in this song. Now, I've tabbed out the song exactly the same as the record, and the full tab is in my acoustic songbook. But if you're learning a tune like this, you don't need to go into exact details about it, because it's never played the same way twice. I've seen Nuno play it a few times, and it's not exactly the same. Okay? It's just not. You don't have to worry about that. So I'm going to show you absolutely as close as I can within reason for the technique and the first chunk of the song, and then I'm going to show you the chords and stuff for the rest of the song, but you're going to have to try and apply the technique, this idea of the little muted hit and stuff, throughout the whole tune, just to go through the whole thing. It'll be really painful for me to explain, and even more painful for you to try and learn, okay? If you want to really go into detail, if you're a massive Extreme fan, then you probably want to get the proper tab of it and sit down and go through it really, really slowly and make sure you nail it. Like I said, I'm going to do it accurate. I like doing things proper, right? But there's a limit to, in a video lesson, how much you're going to be able to go through, unless you've got the tab in front of you. So we're going to start off by looking at the finger picking pattern, because it's a really big deal. It's kind of the key feature of this song. And if you've got that right, it makes learning the rest of the song relatively easy. So let's get to a close-up and check out how to play that first of all. Okay, so there you've had just a little look at it. Now let me go through and explain what we're doing here. I'm starting off with a G chord with the fretting hand, but what we're looking at first of all is really this technique. And we're playing the bass note first of all with the thumb on the thicker string. Then we're playing these three notes, the thinnest three strings, with fingers 1, 2 and 3 on the thinnest three strings with a little pick. 1 and. Now that's the group of notes that Nuno normally plays with a first finger upstrum. So he goes 1 and. I go 1 and, okay? Doesn't really matter if you're going to do that or do that. They do sound ever so slightly different, okay? So for the rest of the tutorial, I'm going to be using my fingers like that in a group, but if you ever see the thinnest three strings played on their own, you could also use your first finger as a strum, okay? So the next note, which is on beat 2, is this. It's a little hit. And what you want to be doing is just trying to put your fingers in position, ready to pluck again, but you're hitting into the strings, and the click is actually it's your fingers hitting the strings, but as well the strings pressing down on the frets. That's where you get the little click from, okay? It's almost like I'm whipping it a little bit. I'm exaggerating the motion now, but my wrist is coming out and then my hand. That's the motion. I mean, like I said, I'm exaggerating it, but you want to make sure that you can get a nice little whip there and get the fingers, so the fingers are already on those thinnest three strings. They're going to be on the thinnest three strings nearly all of the time. Not all the time, but nearly all the time. Okay? So get used to hitting them in and the fingers ready to go. Okay? So we got bass, thinnest three strings, hit. I'd recommend practicing that a little bit first. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2. If you just got used to doing that, just so you got used to doing the little hit and you got used to the fingers getting ready to play the chords again, okay? Now on the G chord, 1 and 2 and. Now the second, this next chord that we're playing is actually the thumbs moving over to play the 5th string, and we're just using first and second fingers now, okay, which will be strings 2 and 3. Okay, first finger is always going to pluck the 3rd string, second finger on the 2nd string, 3rd finger is going to pluck the thinnest string. Okay, not all the time, but most of the time, at least for this first part. Okay, so we've got bass, chord, hit, thumb moving over to the 5th string, fingers 1 and 2, plucking strings 2 and 3. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and again, thinnest 3 strings. If you wanted to, you could use a little strum, but I'm going to use the 3 fingers together. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Now we've changed to the C chord actually, but it doesn't really matter what you want it to do. It's the thumb playing the 5th string, first finger playing the 3rd string, second finger playing the 2nd string. Okay, that's the pattern. And I really strongly recommend that you try and get that pattern down before you do anything else. So thumb, chord, hit, chord, thinnest 3 strings, hit, the middle grouping again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Bass chord, hit middle, top chord, hit middle, 2, 3, 4. Okay, before we finish going through that first 4 bars, which is what I recommend that you cycle, and want to show you the chords so that the kind of the finger style makes more sense. So you've got the basic pattern. We've got a G chord, then first finger's going down to play the note B, which is, you know, you might already hold it down, but you probably want to lift off that first finger when it comes to play this note on the bass. Just otherwise your second finger is very likely to be leaning over and touching that string. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now here we've just got, just like a big 4-finger G, but we move first and second fingers down. We end up with what's called a C add 9, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so it's pretty simple so far. G, C add 9. Now we've got an A minor 7, okay? Now the whole proper chord would involve putting the second finger down on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, first finger down the 1st fret of the 2nd string. That's the whole A minor 7 chord. It's not a bad idea to put that finger down anyway, but you could get away with just using your first finger there for that chord. And for it, there's a little bit this, I'm sure you can hear that in the melody, little finger going down in the 3rd fret of the thinner string, and then off, then to a C chord, then to a D, and then there's a little D sus. Going to take you through the finger style for this in a second, so it all makes sense. But I want you to have the chord. There's your D sus 4, and then we're back to G. C add 9. A minor 7, little finger on and off. C, D, sus 4, back to G. A minor 7. C, okay, let's go and have a look at the finger style, but it's this 4-bar sequence that I recommend that you practice over and over and really get the technique correct before learning the rest of the song. So we looked already at the first bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, that's where we're up to. The first bar. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, now this chord is held over beat 1 of the next bar. The next chord that we're going to play is the and after 1, which is the thinner strings, hit on beat 2, then we've got bass note, bass and chord together twice, hit, and then the change to the A minor 7, and then we're going to strum, or pick rather, with a thumb, first and second fingers only. Okay? G, with a B bass, C add 9, bass, chord, hit, change chord to the A minor 7. Okay, it's a very common little sequence. So again, just try and build these things. So start with those 2 bars. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, and again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, now the sequence there for the A minor 7 is exactly the same as the last bar. So we've got that chord that's hanging over, the A minor 7, and then we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So it's the A minor 7 carried over. We've got the top chord on the and after 1, 1 and hit, bass, chord. Okay, so we've got the little finger going down on the A minor 7 for the middle one there, so bass note, now with the little finger down, and then little finger off. I'm not sure if that note's played actually on the original. I've transcribed it actually so it's not there, but sounds kind of right to me. And then hit C. So let's look at those 3 bars now. So G, C, A minor, little finger on and off to C, chord, hit. Now we're on the D chord, okay, and we're going to play thumb on the 4th string, 2nd finger and 3rd finger, which are on the thinnest 2 strings. 1st finger plays the 3rd string, little finger goes down to make the D sus4, and then we're going to play those thinnest 2 strings. So D, thumb, middle finger and ring finger. Okay, just those ones, so not the 1st finger. Then 1st finger, then little finger goes down to make the D sus4, play the thinnest 2 strings again, then we got the hit, and we've got the G. Okay, so that bar again, C, hit, D, 1st finger, thinnest 2 strings, hit, G. Okay, let's run through that whole 4-bar sequence now really slowly. G, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. If you wanted to get into the Nuno thing with using this 1st finger little up strum, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, let's look at the verse chords now. So we've got the G chord, C add 9, A minor, C, D with a little sus thing, back to G, with a B bass note to C add 9, A minor, C, D, E minor. It's at this point that the chords change a little bit. We got an E minor first of all, with a B bass note. Again, I'll talk about the picking hand in a second. Then we go into the A minor 7. Now we go to a D7. Then we've got this G, D with an F sharp bass. Then it's kind of, I guess, a D sus4 with an F sharp bass to E minor. Okay, so that little section, E minor, A minor 7, D7, G, D with an F sharp bass to E minor, A minor 7, D7, G7, with a B bass to C, C minor, we got to have a bar chord in there, G, now this little bit he's gone from a G, still keeping the same chord on the top but changing the F sharp bass note, and then making an E minor grip, still keeping those thinnest 2, the fingers 3 and 4 on the thinnest 2 strings. We're plucking those thinnest 3 strings and moving the bass, which I'm going to do a close-up of that hand in a second. Then we're going to an A minor 7, to a D7, and then we're back to G. Let's go to one more time through that whole section so you can see the chords, and then I'll do the fingerstyle part. So A minor, C, new section coming up, E minor, A minor 7, D7, G, D with an F sharp bass to E minor, A minor 7, to D7, to G7, C, C minor bar chord, G, F sharp bass to E minor 7, to A minor 7, to D7, and then to G. Okay, let's check out that pick in hand. So this is exactly the part of the song where it's really difficult to do it really accurately and trying to explain it to you. So I'm going to play it once through and then try and explain it as best I can. So going from the A minor before the new part, C, D sus to E minor. It's the A minor, D7, G, D with an F sharp bass to E minor, A minor, D7, G7, with a B bass to C, C minor bar chord, G, E minor, A7, D7, and then we're back again. So the little points to watch out for, the E minor, okay, so the first part's got the E bass note, and then we move the thumb over to play the note B, which is on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. It's there already, you don't have to like move anything, it's under the chord, but E minor, B bass note to A minor 7. Now it's worth noting that that last note there is the note A still. Sometimes in this song the chords are anticipated and they come on the and after 4, but on the D7 it normally comes right on the beat. So E minor is early, the D, hit E minor, B bass note, A minor, D7, right on beat 1, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and D7, right on the beat. 1, 2 and 3 and 4, early. Okay, G, and we're not doing the big kind of muted hit this time. We're just touching those same strings with the fingers. So G, touch, G, touch, D with an F sharp bass, but we just play thumb, 1st finger, 2nd finger, touch. This time we play little fingers come off on the fretting hand, and we're going to play all 3 thinner strings. Then to E minor again. Okay, G, D with an F sharp bass, with the little thinner open E, E minor, with the B bass note there, so thumb moves over to the 5th string, A minor 7, little thing with the little finger lifting off, bass note again on the and after 4 before D on the 1, okay? A minor 7, D7, G7, B bass note C. Really nice little section, that G, C, C minor bar chord. Okay, it's the same little trick again. I think it just starts off actually with the first 2 notes, so the bass note and the 2nd string. Then the chord hit, bass, chord, chord. Okay, 2 notes together, just thumb and 2nd finger. Okay, chord, hit, bass, chord, chord, hit, G. And this little bit on the E minor here, G, we've changed the bass note, but we're still plucking the same chords. Then we've got this E minor. Okay, Okay, so we've got the hit every time now. So with the 6th string, hit, 5th string, hit, 4th string. That's what the note that's being played with the thumb. 6th string, 5th string, 4th string, 5th string. To A minor 7, either with a strong first finger, with your thumb, doesn't really matter. A minor 7, D7. Okay, one more time through that section, just in case there's any confusion still. So from the A minor 7, C, D, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 2. Okay, so we've just had the A minor, the little spreads there to the D7. Now we're going to a G. It does that for 2 bars, just alternating between the G bass note and the B bass note. Now we're going to this D with the F sharp bass, D add 9, guess we should call it officially. You could do it with your thumb as well. I think Nuno might do it with his thumb. I've normally played it that way. So we're going to, here it's the first time that we don't have the hit on beat 2. So we've gone 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So 1, thinner strings, chord, thinner strings, hit to the E minor. So this time we've got a new chord, a B minor chord, a B minor bar chord, going to C. It's a little bit tricky, this part. The D with an F sharp bass, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, the rhythm of that's a little bit sticky, okay? D with the F sharp bass, 1, 2, 3, and hit, and nothing. Just playing another note from the E minor chord there. I'll go look at that in the fingerstyle section in a second. Then to the B minor on the and after 2, 2 and 3, and hit C. This takes a little bit of practice. Staying on C for ages. It's a nice little chord movement now here, the C chord. C with a B bass, so just lift off 3rd finger, move 2nd finger to the 2nd fret, the note B, and then move 2nd finger down onto the 4th string, and you've got your A minor 7. Okay, then we've got a D7 again to G, and then that same chord sequence starts again. So on the G, same little section. Here we go again, the D with an F sharp bass, E minor, B minor, C. More than words make them new, just by saying I love you. Okay, let's have a look at that pick and hand. So we've just finished the strums, A minor, D7. Now we've got G. The bass note moving between the thicker string and the 5th string. Same pattern we've been working with all along. Then we got this. Okay, so this is the D add 9 over F sharp. Chord, chord. This is, so it's bass and the chord together, but the 3 fingers have moved over for the first time, I think, onto the strings 4, 3, and 2. Then they move over and play the thinner strings. Back again with the bass, thinnest 3 strings, hit, E minor. 1, 2, 3, and hit, and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and hit, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, that one little bit's a bit tricky on the old B minor there. So here's the D, 2, 3, and hit, E minor. Then bass note moves to B on the and after 1. Then we change to the B minor. Okay, so bass note's playing the 5th string, 3rd finger and 2nd finger are playing strings 2 and 3. 1st finger plays the 4th string. Then they all move over and play the thinnest 3 strings. I suspect Nuno would have done it with a little strum, not really sure. And then it's jumping to the C. Okay, that one little bit, it's probably the hardest bit of the fingerstyle part in the whole song. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. It's going to take you some practice to get that. It's a lot easier again if you've got the songbook and the tab in front of you, but even without it, you can do it. And remember, it doesn't have to be exact. You're just trying to play the tune, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. There's the little bit there where we've got the C with the C chord to C with a B bass to A minor. C. A minor to D7, G, with the alternating bass thing again, back to the D, E minor, B minor, C, C, with the B bass, A minor, D, and then we're back. Well, there we go, ladies and germs. That's pretty much the whole song. So a few little bits that you need to repeat, and you need to listen to the original recording. And it's always really important to be listening to the original recording anyway. Big deal with this song is remembering that you don't have to play it exactly like the record, because Nuno doesn't play it exactly like the record either. I don't think I've ever played it exactly like the record, and the little look that I've just given to you then, I had to really concentrate and look at my own transcription and try and do it and make sure I got it exactly right, because I don't do it exactly the same as the record every time. I'm just after the feel of it. Once I've got that idea of hitting the you know, got the little hit on 2 and 4, and I've got the kind of rough fingerstyle patterns, there's no need to play it exactly like the record. Nobody cares. Well, maybe there's somebody that cares, and maybe you care. If you're a huge Extreme fan, you really want to do it as an exercise to really nail it. It's not a bad thing to do. You'll learn a lot in the process. But for most people, it's a little bit of a waste of time to really try and play it 1,000,000% just like the record. I should also note that I haven't done the very outro as well, the little finger tapping-y part. I don't have time to learn it. I have played kind of approximate versions of it, but I don't want to give you a dodgy version of it, so I'd have to really practice it to play it just like the record, and I don't have time. And it's one of those things, again, it's not really worth it for me to spend a couple of hours learning a finger tapping part that most of you probably won't learn. And if you're good enough to learn it, there's a tab in the songbook, and you could just sit down. It would just be playing it really, really slowly over and over again until you get the right technique, and then gradually speeding it up over a few weeks, So I think that's a pretty in-depth look at this lesson. I wish there'd been somebody to show me all of that when I first learned it, because I played it wrong for years and years and years. Well, wrong. I played it so I could perform it in a club or whatever, and people would sing along, but it wasn't exactly like the record. So hopefully you'll enjoy that lesson. I think it's a beautiful song. It sounds lovely even without the vocals. You should have heard me try and sing this one. It was awful. It's a really difficult song to sing, but a lovely one to play on guitar. And I hope you have a good time playing it, and I'll see you for plenty more lessons very soon. You take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.